great players going to make tough shots, but I think that we could be better in those areas of just mucking it up and making it a little bit more uglier.
All right, Fever Nation. We've got a lot to break down after that tough loss, but let's focus on what matters most. What Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell had to say about the game and how they're gearing up for the next one. Trust me, their insights could be the key to unlocking the Fever's playoff potential, so buckle up. So let's kick it off with Caitlin Clark, literally taking one for the team. She got smacked in the eye during the game, but did that slow her down? Nope. Clark came out swinging. She said it herself. I got good shots. They just didn't go down.
Obviously a tough time for that to happen. I got some really good looks. I felt I had three pretty wide open threes in the first half that you usually make.
That's a shooter's mentality, folks. She was frustrated, sure, but when you've got someone like Clark who battles through adversity and keeps her head in the game, you know you've got a star. It's worth noting that Clark's struggles may have been exacerbated by an unfortunate early game incident when she got poked in the eye by Dijonai Carrington. While Clark is tough and didn't make excuses for her poor shooting, any shooter can tell you that eye issues can throw off your rhythm. That said, Clark still managed to stay engaged defensively and contributed in other areas, but the shots just weren't falling.
Could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game? Thanks.
Yeah, obviously got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down.
I have to interject here, though. That play by Carrington was not a basketball move. I don't care what anyone says or how they try to spin it. Anyone who has ever played basketball would call it what it was. You don't follow through like that when trying to block a shot or block a pass when putting your hand in the passing lane. The first thing out of the mouth of the announcer was that it was not intentional. How can they speak on her intent? The only thing you can do is put it to the eye test. I have to say it fails the eye test. Maybe I should go back to my optometrist. What do you think? Anyway, let's continue.
That's tough, but I felt like I battled and tried my best. Took care of the ball better than I usually do, which is a positive.
She also mentioned her ball control. I took care of the ball better than usual, she said. That's progress, and that's what you want to hear from your point guard going into the next game. Now things got heated in the third quarter. After a timeout, Clark hit the bench, slammed the chair, and then, boom, she hit a couple of big shots right after. When you see that kind of fire, you know she's in it to win it. She even admitted it herself. It felt right there. That's why it's so frustrating when shots don't go in. And I know every shooter watching this right now can relate to that feeling.
Caitlin, what positives do you take away from this first game? And I think in the third quarter timeout, you went to the bench, slammed the chair, and then hit a couple of shots right after that. I mean, I don't know if that cleared your head or got you going, or just frustration and things happen afterwards.
Yeah, well, I felt like my shot felt right there. That's why it's so frustrating as a shooter, when it feels so good, but it won't go down for you. That's what sucks about it. But
it's like when you're at the free throw line and you've got that perfect release, but somehow the ball decides to play a little gotcha and rim out. Yeah, that's Caitlin's frustration right there. But here's the thing, Clark's mindset is key. Even when the shots weren't falling, she kept battling. That's the kind of mentality that wins playoff games. She didn't let the frustration take her out of the game mentally, and that's the sign of a great leader. The Fever as a whole struggled in this game. One of the most glaring issues for the Fever was their poor shooting, particularly from their stars. Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, who usually anchor the offense, had a rough night from the field. Clark went 4 of 17 overall and just 2 of 13 from beyond the arc, while Mitchell was 2 of 10 from three-point range. It's hard to win a game when your top 2 shooters combine for a 4 of 23 performance from deep. The Fever rely heavily on their perimeter game, and when that's off, it significantly affects their chances. Now let's look at the key moments and depth issues. One turning point came late in the first half when Lexi Hull had to sit with foul trouble. Hull doesn't fill up the stat sheet in points, but her presence is felt in the hustle plays and defense she brings. Her absence seemed to disrupt the Fever's rhythm, and when Katie Lou Samuelson stepped in, It was evident she wasn't prepared for the intensity of the moment. This underscored one of the Fever's main problems: depth. Aaliyah Boston had a decent game, but at the power forward spot, Temi Fagbenley and Nelisa Smith did not provide enough of an impact to factor in this game. There was no solution to help alleviate the team's rebounding or defensive woes. Damaris Dantas was the most effective at that position, but she's limited to shooting. On the other hand, the Sun had contributions from multiple players, and their depth on this day was clearly superior. Their efficiency, especially from beyond the arc, was a stark contrast to the Fever's shooting struggles. The Sun went 9 of 18 from 3, compared to Indiana's 6 of 28. That difference in efficiency, along with Connecticut's controlling the boards, 36 rebounds to Indiana's 29, allowed the Sun to control the game even when Indiana had brief runs. Now let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell. If you thought the loss rattled her, think again. This baller's turning the page quicker than a novel on a deadline.
Go Matt in the second row, then Scott on the far right on the wall.
Yeah, Kelsey, getting to the playoffs, getting to this moment has been a long time coming for you, and it's kind of a tough opener. So I guess I'm just curious, what are your emotions and sort of processing that right now, right after the game?
I'm turning the page, man. Nothing else I could do. I like to think that every time I step on the floor, I give my best. I think that our team try to give our best, but me individually, the goal is always give my best, and I take it on the chin. Look forward to what's happening on Wednesday. So I'm excited to hash out the details, look at the film as a group, and I'm looking forward to Wednesday.
I'm turning the page, man. There's nothing else I can do, Mitchell said after the game. That's what you want from a veteran, someone who knows that a playoff series isn't won or lost in one game. What I love most about Kelsey's mentality is her accountability. She knows the team didn't play their best, but she's not losing confidence.
Last one on Zoom. Maddie, go ahead.
Yeah, Kelsey, you've talked about confidence being a key to success. So how will you go about instilling confidence in your teammates over the next couple days before you come back here on Wednesday?
I think it starts with accountability first. I think we all individually know that we could have done better, but I think confidence doesn't waver. I don't think you just drop off because it didn't go our way. I think this is a game that's imperfect, that has imperfections, and I think that for us, we dropped the ball. We just didn't play well. We didn't do well enough to win, at least. And I think going forward, you keep your confidence, what it is, but you take accountability as a player and as a team, and you look forward to Wednesday.
Confidence doesn't waver, she said. That's the mindset you need heading into the next game. They know they dropped the ball, but there's no time to dwell on it. They're already prepping for the next battle. But let's talk strategy. Kelsey Mitchell brought up something important: defense. We should err on the side of aggressiveness, Mitchell said when asked about defending Marina Mabry, who went off in the fourth quarter.
Kelsey and Coach, if you want to add in on this too, what did you think was the difference in the fourth quarter, especially with Marina Mabry kind of going off, and how can you guys maybe defend her a little bit better in the next game?
I think that we should err on the side of aggressiveness, with or without adjustment. I think that we should our 12 should be aggressive to start the game, to make, great players gonna make tough shots, but I think that we could be better in those areas of just mucking it up and making it a little bit more uglier when they do take tough shots. And I think that, that's our big step, to make them take tough shots all game. I think we could have done better in that area.
She's absolutely right. The Fever need to get gritty, muck it up, make it ugly, and make those tough shots even tougher. When it comes to playoff basketball, defense is everything, and Mitchell's suggestion to muck it up is exactly what needs to happen. You don't let shooters like Mabry get into a rhythm. You take away her space, you close out harder, and you make her uncomfortable. That's what wins games in the postseason. So what's next for the Fever? First, they need to find ways to get better shots. Clark might need to be more aggressive in getting to the basket, as attacking the rim could lead to more foul opportunities and get her into a rhythm. Kelsey Mitchell also needs to tighten up her handle and make smarter decisions when the defense collapses on her. Second, Indiana must focus on their rebounding and transition defense. The Sun had too many second-chance opportunities, which kept possessions alive and led to easy baskets. The Fever are at their best when they can push the tempo and get out in transition, but that requires securing defensive rebounds first. Finally, the Fever need more contributions from their role players. Hull's foul trouble was unfortunate, but they'll need her energy and defensive intensity moving forward. As for Smith and Fagbenley, they must step up, especially on the boards, if the Fever are to force a Game 3 in this series. Now, I know you're thinking, we didn't shoot the ball well. Is it the building? Is it the hoop? Well, Caitlin Clark shut that down quick.
It's not anything about the building. It's not about the gym. It's not about the hoops. Like, I have all the confidence in the world in this team, and everybody in our locker room does, and I know we'll be a lot better on Wednesday.
It's not about the building, the gym, or the hoops, she said. Clark's got all the confidence in the world in this team, and honestly, you can see why. Clark knows they didn't play their best, but that's not going to shake her. She's got the same energy whether they're down by 10 or up by 10, and that's what you need from your floor general. When she said, "I know we'll be a lot better on Wednesday," you believe it because Clark believes it. It's like being in a poker game with a royal flush in hand. You've got the winning cards, and now it's just about playing them right. So here's the bottom line, Fever fans. Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell know what went wrong in this game. They're not making excuses, they're taking accountability, and most importantly, they're ready to bounce back. Clark's leadership, Mitchell's confidence, and the adjustments they'll make on defense, those are the ingredients that could unlock the Fever's playoff potential. While the Fever didn't have a disastrous game overall, their shooting struggles, lack of depth, and inability to contain Connecticut's bench, particularly Marina Mabrey, were too much to overcome. If they can make some key adjustments, improving their rebounding, shooting efficiency, and defensive schemes, they have a chance to turn things around. But with their backs against the wall, Game 2 could be their final opportunity to prove they belong in the playoffs. So, what do you think? Can the Fever turn it around in Game 2? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Fever playoff coverage. This series is far from over, and I've got a feeling Caitlin and Kelsey are cooking up something special. Until next time, keep ballin'.